as well. While I'm introducing, that'd be fantastic. 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, Gogsy here, and welcome to Premier View, the show that is replacing the SPFL show this season for the prime review of whatever happens in the Scottish Premiership in terms of the game weeks. And we've just had game week 1, in which it was pretty much a disaster for everyone involved on the channel at the moment. But so without further ado, we're going to introduce the panelists tonight. We've got Coby, who's an Aberdeen fan.
All right.
Of Jones Talk. Right. Go check him out. His links in the description.
Cheers.
Probably for the end of the episode. And we've also got Marc, a fellow Motherwell fan. Good to have you on, mate. Long time no see.
No problem, man. Kenny. It's only been a few hours.
I know. So the reason why there wasn't much of a match day live coverage for the Motherwell game last night, it was because I was at Marc's, and let's just finish it at that. Yeah. But without further ado, we're going to crack on with the first game we're going to cover. We're actually using my most underrated player 2019 trophy as the decider for what game we are going to chat about. We're going to talk about any political signings or anything like that that you're asking about in the comments as we go through the game. So if you're asking a question about a certain team, we'll cover that when it gets to the game that we're talking about. But yeah, first game we have got to talk about tonight on Premier View, it is St Mirren versus Livingston.
I get out of the
what
way.
Game to start.
I get it out. Get out of the way.
A cracking match.
Well, I'll start. I've got my notes here. So I've got Livingston started with a 3-4-2-1, but I think they went to a 3-4-3 like throughout the game. But that's kind of obviously different to what we've seen last season.
Are we really going to be talking about formations?
Well, I've just got this down here because it was a change. But what we did see was Effie Ambrose playing out wide on the wing.
I know Effie Ambrose. Effie Ambrose as a left wing back is possibly the weirdest thing I've ever seen in Scottish football, and this is Scottish football, man. Like, I've seen weird things. That was bizarre. Seeing him have a shot for about 25 yards and nearly go in was a weird thing, you know.
I've seen him pass it straight to Adam Rooney and he scores in 16 seconds. But to see him on the wing was quite strange one.
It was quite a weird one as well because St Mirren had like a pretty much whole new defence as well. I mean, like Jack Annick, Michael Fraser, Richard Tate, Joe Shaughnessy as well. So it was quite a weird thing to see a full new backline pretty much.
Yeah, well, it was. And they did quite well because obviously last season they didn't do too great defensively at times, but they looked solid. They're like setting up as a unit and really compact. I think it obviously paid off in the game because they did quite well, and the goal was it was a great goal. McGrath sent one. It was a perfect ball over the top of over the top of the defence, and then there was really no one marking Richard Tate for the diving header he got.
Mate, that hurts.
You know what I don't get is the amount of times I've seen on Twitter or Facebook people saying, "Oh, he should have taken it with his right foot or whatever," but it doesn't matter. He scored. It was a fantastic.
Exactly. The amount of the times on like sports scene, especially, they're like, "Oh, I don't know why he's went so low with his head." I mean, he's put the ball in the net. What more do you want? Like, I'm puzzled by that kind of criticism. To be honest with you.
I just think whenever they're talking on sports scene, I just think they're trying to fill out the allotted time they've got for that game. And if they've just got words that mean nothing, they'll just be like, "Oh, stuff it. We'll just say this for as much time as possible. We'll just fill out the dead air." But
speaking of Richard Tate, I mean, the new backline I've got here, St Mirren, their defence kept a clean sheet. Obviously, made 13 interceptions. 3 blocks and 40 clearances with a 54.8% aerial duels, having won 51 out of 93.
No wonder you've got 7 pages worth of notes if you've done that for every single game.
I've not done that for every single game.
Statman Coby over there, man. Please, come on.
Fantastic.
He's just quiet, but yeah,
watching that game as well, it seems like their defence, St Mirren, have obviously the defence kept a clean sheet, which is a start. all new players. They're working well together, but they look really good. The defenders even look really good going forward. Like obviously, Tate got the goal. Tate whips a ball in. Junior Mariah should score. I don't know how he doesn't put that ball in the net and he hits the post.
I've got that here. He missed a sitter.
It's an absolute sitter. Absolute sitter. And then Shaughnessy has a header later on in the game as well. Fraser's bombing down the wing, but so it seems like they've managed to kind of get a good. They've got a solid defensive unit who also like to get forward as well. It's definitely going to benefit them in the long run. Like,
yeah,
I'm also. Sorry, you go. Coby.
You go. All right.
I'm also really disappointed in how Livingston played because I had high hopes that Livingston were going to go into this game and take it by the scruff of the neck, and they did absolutely nothing. Like the only thing they've got that's worth actually note is the Craig Sibbald shot from about 35 yards that hit the post.
Yeah, hit the post, aye. Alan Forrest though as well, when he took on the two St Mirren defenders, skint them and enforced a really good save at Ivanic as well.
Yeah,
really good save. Although I did see a stat, I think it's been a year since Livy last won away from home on grass.
On grass, well,
on grass. So I mean, so Aki's and Kelly don't know. I don't know if they beat them or not, but they've not won away from home on grass in a year.
That shows how good their home record is, to be honest. I don't know if that starts taking coronavirus and the break into consideration, but that's a great start for a team that finished in the top half of the table and did really well.
Exactly.
That's a great start. But
it's like league-winning form at home and relegation form away.
It is.
Precisely that, man.
And even they do give out a lot. Well, don't they give out like 2 stands or more to the Old Firm or something? Like, it's obviously down to the Astro that they're winning. But no, I've got here. There is a few positives for Livingston. They dominated the possession and had 12 shots, but they didn't really do much for them, only getting 3 on target. But if Gary Holt can take that and look at that and maybe make them a bit more prolific or work on that in training, I think it is obviously the first game of the season and you don't want to look into it too much. But they should be beating St Mirren. Well, obviously with last season, but I think that could be a few positives for them if they work on that. But we'll have to wait and see.
What did you boys make of the handball shout at the end of the game?
I can't remember.
I can't remember that either.
No, because the angles are dreadful, and from when I first looked at it, I couldn't see much of a handball, but I saw it might have been Dykes. Dykes was screaming for a handball in the middle of the box, but I think he was the only player shouting for it.
Yeah, that doesn't help. But he had
just quiet game, doesn't it?
He had
exactly.
For a player that was being hyped up all the way through in the break, links like Sark and Rangers, he was quiet.
He was very quiet, aye. But that maybe is down to credit in the St Mirren defence as well for being able to keep him quiet.
St Mirren just completely cancelled Livingston out. Like every time Livingston went forward, St Mirren had an answer to them, and that's a credit to how well St Mirren have developed. I mean, everyone thought, well, at the start of this lockdown period, they lost so many players, and a lot of people were like, well, how are they going to actually get a squad together when they're having to basically scrape the bottom of the barrel in terms of players that are just released from other clubs around them. And they've done that to perfection. They've got their first victory of the season, and now they've got 2 really difficult fixtures playing both sides of the Old Firm.
Exactly.
So I think they've done so well to get 3 points there in terms of, because who knows if they'll get anything from their next 2 fixtures.
Exactly. No.
In my prediction video, I predicted them to go down, and I've been left with egg in my face already. That's just because obviously Hladky, they lost the keeper, and I thought he maybe saved them 1 too many times last season, and I didn't know if Anik was really a worthy replacement, but he was really good. And as you said, they're playing the 2 Old Firm teams, so that 3 points is crucial for them, and it's going to be a real test to see if they can maybe push on. It'll be a real test to see their defence against the Old Firm. So.
Quite right. So, is that all we've got for Livingston St Mirren?
I believe so. Yep.
Fair game. Right, we'll move on to the next match. We'll draw out the goblet of fire. We'll call it that. Any Potterheads out there, you know what I'm on about. So the next game is Hibernian versus Kelly. Probably, I would say, the game of the weekend.
I'd say that.
Aye, 100%. Aye.
I thought
it was a good game.
I would like to kick off proceedings here with my notes, just to show that I've actually done some homework. But So, starting off, I mean, a bit of madness from Eastwood and goals from Kilmarnock, and Martin Boyle latches onto Kevin Nisbet through ball, rounds him, makes him look like a complete donkey, nutmegs the Killie defender, and basically beats the boy on the line to make it 1-0. And from that moment onwards, when we were covering in the studio, well, in fact, yes, we're actually doing Hibs v Kilmarnock right now, but when we were doing the sort of live reactions in the studio, I was like, right, Killie are going to go on and win this really comfortably now, because whenever Hibs start off really well, I expect them to just carry it on. But there's always the sort of term Hibs in it that you've always got to take into consideration. And then about half an hour played, Martin Boyle had gone down. It seemed like he'd got hit in the head by one of the Kilmarnock defenders. And then 3 minutes later, he gets back up and goes and scores. Imagine the shithousery.
Martin Boyle does that a lot, though. I've seen him do that against us so many times, man. The thing is that if I was a Killie fan, I'd be raging at Eastwood for a start, going out and making himself look an absolute tool. But you go out, you either get the ball or you take the man out. If you're that far out already, in my opinion, he's slid in, and if you watch it again from when I looked at it, he starts to go for the ball and then just pulls out. So all he's done is he's just run out and done a knee slide. That's all he's done.
there you go, Coby.
I was waiting for that one. I was waiting, but as you said about Eastwood, I said last time Joe Lewis's hands were furloughed. No, his hands are COVID.
Quarantine,
I think the second goal was really well taken, considering he picked the ball up, travelled inside the box, and just put it far corner, just how you should do against any goalkeeper, and no one's going to save that, in my opinion.
I was looking at it like, as a defender, that's what I would do. I'd push him out wide. And it's a fantastic shot. It's a great goal. I mean, the run from Scott Allen beforehand and the pass was brilliant. But when he's going out wide, as I say, as a defender, I'm watching it and I'm going, that is solid defensive work, pushing him out wide. It's just a great shot and a great goal.
Yeah, absolutely is. And then Chris Burke goes and pulls one back from an absolute screamer of a free kick to make it 2-1. And there I was thinking, well, maybe there is a wee sense of Hibsing it here with a goal right before half time, and Kilmarnock basically sat on all the possession in the second half, and Hibs did really well to basically see the game out and get the result that they deserved in some respect. Also did really well to defend most of the crosses that Kilmarnock had in the second half.
I'd probably be, as well as a Hibs fan, it'd be quite a promising showing, because Marciano's been known to have a wee off day. He pulls out a world-day save when it's Paul Hanlon trying to clear a cross in from, is it Millen? Aye, Millen.
Yeah.
Millen's cross in, Hanlon goes to block it and it nearly puts in the bottom corner. It's a great save. That would fill me with confidence. The young boy at left back, Doig, looked very good as well. The only mistake he made in that game was giving away the free kick. I think it was just a bit inexperience going in with the tackle with Kabamba. But otherwise, I think I'd be very, very happy and very happy with that first performance.
Can I just quickly say that in the first half, Killie had a great chance.
Right at the start,
I think it was Ross Millen sent it right to the back post with Ross McCrory.
Kabamba, Kilty, and McKenzie all miss it.
Yeah, McKenzie.
McKenzie doesn't get enough on it.
Yeah, everyone missed it, and that could have been a goal. But I thought it was a second goal. Scott Allen did great for it. Just sent it around quite cutely, just around the defender and ran onto it.
I'd also like to say right now, thank you very much to Ben Odlin for the £1.99 donation. That is the third ever donation of a super chat on the channel. So thank you very much, and I welcome many and many more. And any donation we pick up on the channel is going straight to the fund for us climbing Mount Kilimanjaro next year for Dig Deep. So thank you very much for that.
Good stuff.
Well, while we're on the topic of the goal, the Killie's goal, that free kick should never have been given away, in my opinion, because it was a moment of madness, really. Gogic got caught on the ball. And then he got 18-year-old Doig gave away the foul because he got caught and he just had to do it because he'd been through, I guess. But it was a great free kick. It was just arrowed into the opposite side. It's
an absolute stoter, that, like.
No keeper saving that.
No one's saving that.
I'd also be like, did anyone watch? There was a great moment I had to take a note of. I was watching the sports scene highlights and Gogic misses a header, I think.
Yeah.
And the commentator talks about the big bald dome of Gogic, and I was absolutely buckled. So it's just something I felt it had to be brought up. I thought it was a solid one. I mean, Hibs also, though, we're all slagging off Eastwood, but he did actually make a couple of really good saves. I think it was Joe Newell had a shot from outside the box. It was a good save.
Yes.
He commanded a couple of corners that came in. I think obviously that one mistake that he makes, and then a brilliant finish from Martin Boyle, and that's kind of all that really kind of bothered him.
Aye.
And then now he's injured, so we don't know when we're going to have a chance to see if it was just a mistake or not. But you never know.
Yeah, there was a lot of speculation because, of course, Eastwood got subbed at half-time. People thought, might have been because of his moment of madness coming out in the 4th minute to meet Martin Boyle and try and close down the angle. But it was actually because he pulled his quadriceps.
Yeah.
I reckon he's just he's pulled a sickie on that one. Like, I can't
go back out.
No, I can't be bothered, boys. That's be done.
Send Danny Rogers on.
But to be fair to Danny Rogers, he kept a clean sheet in the second half.
He's a good keeper.
Exactly.
Played for us for I don't know how many years. Just either there was one time he had to be played. That was when we recalled when Danny Ward got recalled, we were playing him and Scott Brown. Then Scott Brown got injured, and then we had to play Danny Rogers. But he's a decent keeper, like especially for Kelly as a backup. That's a good option for them.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I thought as Sportscene said. I mean, I'm just gonna copied this from them, but Hibs did look vulnerable from crossing. I think it took that.
That's the thing. Like, a lot of people have been tipping Hibs to do well, me especially. But the one thing that they've got to watch out for is they are still dodgy defensively.
Yeah,
a good attacking team will take advantage of that.
I think they looked panicky at times when they were trying to defend, and I think Kelly took advantage of this. But overall, Hibs looked better defensively than they did last season, I'd say.
Yeah, the two chances that Kelly had were both the two big chances, I'd say anyway, were from apart from the free kick was Millen's crosses into the box. Obviously, the one that misses 3 players, and then the one that Hanlon makes Marciano make a good save. I mean, and then even on the other side, like Kilty on the other side, you get a good ball in from either end, and Kabamba's a big guy as well. He'll be able to get his head on it at some point. They really went for the whipping the ball in. I don't know if they saw that as a weakness in Hibs' defence or if that's something they do. But as like you said, a lot of chances came from crosses for Kelly against Hibs.
Yeah, I think Kilmarnock I think they deserve something from this game. They didn't play too bad. I think there's definitely lots to look at from the game from a Kelly point of view. But if you take into consideration, if Eastwood never came out and would they have scored that? They might have, but I think you got to take into consideration that the keeper mucked up with that. I think there is a few positives to take from Kelly. Obviously, I've not tipped them to have a great season, and even Brophy, I think he got. I didn't think did he start? No, I don't think he did. But
I think he came off the bench. I think.
Yeah, there's a few positives to take from that.
Yep.
That's the thing. Brophy's not really hit the heights that he did under Steve Clarke, and I think they're sort of feeling that.
Yeah, he worked really well with Chris Boyd. Really well with Chris Boyd. Boyd was like the muscle that everyone went to, and Brophy had the pace to make it count, really, from what I saw. And then you had, obviously, at the same time, you had Jordan Jones putting the ball in for him. They've never really seemed to replace either of the two to kind of help Brophy out.
Quite right.
Well, anyway, one thing before we quickly move on, we'll probably speak about it in a bit. But the Greg Taylor incident, he was playing great for Celtic. He did that for Kelly. Like, it's not new for him. But
it's another player they've maybe not replaced because they replaced him with the ball. I can't remember that the Finnish left back that was on loan last year. Hamalainen, that's it. I replaced him with him, and then he did a cracking job last season. And then they had Stephen Hendry as well as a backup. I'm pretty sure. I think he's still. Still there.
Backup, is it though? Really?
No, I'm trying to be nice.
That'd be nice. But anyway, moving on to the next game. Funnily enough, it's the third and final 3 p.m. kickoff from Saturday. I've managed to draw out Dundee United versus St Johnstone. Now, who would like to take that up first?
Well, when I've got quite a bit on that. If you want me to kick it off,
go for it.
But as I said, I think I said it to you when we were filming for my new series. I heard they were going to line up with a 3-4-3, and they did. They did that with starting with and Dundee United started with 3 at the back as well. But Ian Harks, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but he looked really good.
Yeah.
He looked there was a bit he paced, and especially for the goal, he cut it back. I'm pretty sure it was him to Nicky Clark who fired it into the arm of Liam Craig, and I had a bit of sympathy because obviously he never meant it, but it did hit his arm. It wasn't intentional, but it was definitely a handball.
Yeah,
and it was a great finish as well for the goal. I think Elliot Parish in goal. He gets the right way, but if he stretched out maybe a bit more, he would have probably got it. I don't know if he'd have stopped it, but he might have got a hand to it or something. But if we want to talk about the red cards as well from Michael O'Halloran, I thought one of his bookings was similar to the Considine tackle.
I've got that written down. His first foul, the yellow card. I don't see what the difference is between that and the Considine tackle. They're both pretty much the same. And then even after it, to have that booking and to try and flick out the goalkeeper at Seagrace, to try and do that, stupid. And then the other foul is even more daft. Like you know you're on a booking, you've got away with one. Why would you? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think it's stupidity. And he's maybe an experienced player, and he's doing stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I've got it written down here. Like I don't even know if his third foul was maybe as such a yellow, but it's just all of them added up. All the ones he's gotten off with before that added up, and he got sent off. And I mean, it was just daft from him. Really, there was no need for him to make any of the challenges.
Well, if you're looking at the Michael O'Halloran tackles. The first one being that cynical challenge that it was quite dangerous. It was similar to Andy Considine's in the Aberdeen game, and I thought, well, if he's going to going like that, and it's at some pace, and his studs are almost I'm not saying that they're completely shown, but it's a reckless tackle, and it's at least worth a booking. But then the second tackle that he gets, or the tackle that he gets booked for the second yellow, I also thought it was a bookable offence because it was a cheeky wee stamp on him.
It was a little.
I mean, it wasn't with the amount of force that it would be worth a red card on its own, but it was still a yellow card offence in my opinion. So he definitely deserved to be sent off.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that, but moving on to the goal for St Johnstone, the leveller. Liam Craig made up for his penalty with a beautiful volley.
It's a stunning volley, man.
As we said before this, it was a defensive error. It was cleared right to him, and then he just hit it. It hit it perfect. It was Marc Connolly's failed clearance, and he went right to him, and it went past Seagrace in the goal. But it was a great finish. I mean, it's probably one of the best goals of the week. Game week spot.
Definitely was.
Yeah. Do you think Connolly could have left the ball? Because it seems like it's a tame cross. There's a defender behind him and the keeper as well. I think that ball comes in. I'm thinking he can leave that, and it's an easy clearance.
To be fair, though, as a centre back, I mean, he's probably all's going through his mind is probably just to get rid and get it up. But if maybe that's inexperience of playing in the SPFL. Maybe if you put a Mark Reynolds there, for example, who's obviously played in the SPFL before with Aberdeen, maybe he wouldn't have made that. Maybe maybe wouldn't make that decision. But I think he was just worried about dealing with it and pumping it out. So,
but I would like to say Dundee United came out of the traps in this game at 100 miles an hour. They seemed like they were determined to get 3 points in their return to the top flight. And they were absolutely well worth their 1-0 lead at half time. They completely dictated the play. It was all Dundee United, and I thought as soon as Michael O'Halloran got sent off, I thought this was going to be 2 or 3, maybe even 4-0.
Yeah, they played some. They were playing so well, like the passing, the movement, the little balls in behind. They were really, really good. There was a chance for, it was Nicky Clark played a ball through. I can't remember who it was that had the shot. Nah, it was the second half. The first half, I can't remember who it was. Was it Smith, maybe? Might have been Smith.
Smith, yeah.
But the pass was just, when he first played it, I was like, who's that going to? And then all of a sudden, this boy comes out of nowhere. And I was like, that's an unreal pass. Like, they played so well. But then having said that, second half, St Johnstone were solid defensively. Dundee United couldn't play the way they played in the first half, even though there was less players to play against. It was a bizarre second half performance compared to the first.
Yeah, it was like it's expected to have just won the game anyway, because St Johnstone looked like a completely different team coming out in the second half. They changed their shape and they took the game to Dundee United, and it looked like Dundee United were the team with the man disadvantage. And St Johnstone go and scored, equalise, and they dictate the play for the next 20, 30 minutes as well. And then Dundee United finally got their second wind and got a couple more chances before the end, but they just couldn't reclaim the lead.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking Dundee United's the style of play was quite obvious from that game. I don't know whether it was maybe just because St Johnstone were sitting back in the way they played, but that's 61% possession, and they were nice little quick one-touch passing they were doing, linking up with the midfield and the attack was really it was good to watch personally. They looked really kind of refreshing for a league that just pumps it up and all that, but the way they were just passing it in behind and getting in behind the St Johnstone defence. I know Shankland had a chance, but I think they could have, if maybe on their day, if it was St Johnstone had a good game as well. Let's not disregard that, but they had a good game defensively, I should say. But Dundee United did look promising. As well, I'm on the St Johnstone. I think McNamara had a good debut for them. I think he looked promising.
Yeah, I thought the same. Actually, I've got that written down. I thought he was very good on that side.
Yeah, there was definitely positives for both teams, but they structured well defensively, St Johnstone. That's all I've really got for this game. But
yeah, same with me. Is that?
Yeah, I was about to say moving on.
Yeah, moving on. The next game, Coby, you're up. It is. Time for you to get this one out.
I've been waiting for this one. I've been waiting.
Well, he's got a full angry rant essay ready for us.
He's got a full binder full of notes.
One and a bit pages here, but we started with I think it was a 4-2-3-1 with Ferguson and Ojo in holding midfield. Let's remember that for when I get onto it, holding midfield they were playing. So we could have kind of changed it to a 3 at the back and maybe a 5 at times when we wanted to defend, which was the majority of the game. But Hayes was going wing backs at times, but. They started Leon Balogun, which was kind of the most surprising. I think a few fans were kind of, you've seen a few other teams not starting their new signings, maybe let them gel in. But the game Rangers, let's go on to this one first before I talk about the goal. But we had a corner. This was our best chance of the game. They defended with the offline. They let it bounce 2 times in the box. And we should have probably finished it. I know McKenna tried to force it over the line and then wallop Balogun into the post, which was, take with that what you will, but we should have probably scored that. But if we're wanting to talk about the goal, the Rangers were, it started from the back line. I went all the way that far back. It went out to Tavernier, who Matty Kennedy was pressing up. Maybe he wasn't as aggressive, pressing as maybe he should have been, but he let him in on his inside. And then let it go all the way. It trickled through from their defence all the way through the halfway line without anyone intercepting the pass or anything. And no one applied enough pressure to that counter-attack. And then Morelos was in space and he ran onto it. Now, I actually think McKenna made he gambled by going out and pressing out. I know he was following his man and we play a very man-marking style. But if he stayed in there and let his man go, maybe he was thinking it was going to go down the line or something. I'm not sure. But then Taylor got turned as well, and it went through Kent. And let's be honest, Taylor's never catching Kent for pace. And then he opened it up and then just finished it. But nothing Jolis could have done. What I'm actually annoyed about is the holding midfielders, as I said previously. They're holding midfielders and they were too slow in getting back. They had all the time from when they were attacking, they weren't that far up to get back. And then Tavernier was able to turn from Kennedy, play it in, without anyone getting back as such. And then, then it went and scored from that. So if you could make an argument for a lot of players, whether it was their fault. I know, Marc, as you said before, Hernandez and the gaps between the defence and the positioning of the defenders was awful. But
yeah,
a double-decker bus could have just drove right through the
100%. But what annoyed me was the fact that McKenna knew it was partly his fault, and he's just jogging back. Like, you want to see a player giving everything to get back and maybe stopping it. I know he's probably thinking, there's no chance of me getting back, but at least Luke like burst a gut or something to try get back. Same with maybe Ferguson as well. But yeah, it's just poor all around from us for that goal.
I'd agree with that. I'd say as well, like we were talking about, they very much, it seemed like Rangers were trying to play where Morelos comes out to let a centre back follow him and then use Hadji or Kent or whoever's on the wing to come and fill that gap. And they did it to perfection for that first goal. Well, the only goal. I'd also go, well, like we said and like you said, Hernandez is very far away from filling the gap, very far away. And it just makes it so easy for Ryan Kent. Like, it's just a simple run. It's a good wee flick through from Morelos as well, to be fair. Good run, solid finish. The keeper can't do much. There's not much you can do about that kind of play. After that, though, it seems like Rangers changed their game plan. They kind of wanted to sit and just try and see if Aberdeen could come up with something and then catch them on the counter. Because, again, Kent and Hadji running down there's no chance. Aberdeen, I think there needs to be, they look very lacklustre in the final third. There didn't seem to be much going on. Anderson, I mean, he was all right. Like, he didn't have much he could work with, so I can't really say he was awful. But I feel like you just need another kind of player, because without Cosgrove, it seems like you question where any goals are coming from.
Yeah, I mean, it might. Obviously, we've got to take into consideration we were missing our two main strikers, and the way we played, I was hoping we would have changed up the way we played from last season with young Anderson up top, because we were just pumping it up to him really, and he wasn't getting any. He was just getting bullied up there by Balogun, and I think one of the one chance we had, if it wasn't for Balogun, he had a great game. Anderson would have had a 1-on-1, and that's the goals. I think, he had that. He scored damn goals against Kelly and against Livingston last season, and he slotted them home nicely. And that's his favourite type of angle for us. So I do think if he did get through there, he would have got the goal. But as you said, very lacklustre. We lacked that type of playmaker. Who would have maybe showed a spark or something in the final third to maybe snatch us a goal. We didn't really have that. I think our best chance was just a pot shot, obviously on the corner, but we really didn't create much chances, and it was very flat. All the Aberdeen fans are still, well, most of them are complaining about McInnes. I saw someone pop off a little comment up on the screen, but I think we need to work with the players we've got, because we can't afford to be going and buying a £1 million player for £1 million player, something just now, especially like the old firm can. I think that's what we're trying to do. We're living in the stages where Rangers weren't in the SPFL, and we're trying to think, we should be pushing second. If you're being realistic with it, we shouldn't be just now, because they have the money to spend. That's the same with Motherwell as well. I know you could have still got there, but you wouldn't have. But
no
one has the money to compete with the old firm.
Exactly. It's all down to financial. And Aberdeen fans are saying, we've only won one cup. That's because we don't have the money to buy the cups or win them cups. Like, Celtic have realistically bought their way to all these leagues. Obviously, they've been good in between, and they've brought a few good young players in, like Tierney, who helped them a lot. And that's probably been a bit harsh on them saying they've bought the leagues, but they've bought class players like Edward, who really we can't afford to buy those type of players. So I think that is partly down to it. But then that's translates to Aberdeen. People say Aberdeen fans accept second, third, and maybe a cup final. But I do think, looking outside, I obviously think McInnes is the good man. Is one of the best managers we could get, because he knows the club. And I don't think if we get a new manager, I don't think that's just going to change it overnight, and they'll make us win a cup. You got to look at it from the outside in. Exactly, you got to look at the outside in, and we're going as far as we can, but that's because we can't compete on a financial level. We'll never break that gap. That's not up to us breaking that gap financially. So that's the same with Motherwell and the same with other teams trying to push in. Until it's more fair financially, that's never going to change. I mean, it also doesn't help. I know Sky have bought over Scottish football and all that for this season, but last season it was just the Old Firm games and then Rangers playing Hamilton and Rangers playing, that was shown on TV. There was never really like an Aberdeen Hamilton or Aberdeen. That's just because they know what's going to make the money at the end of the day. So that's all I've got to say on that one.
That's that one.
We've got to wrap up. We're getting rushed for time, so we're going to go into the next game, which is Celtic versus Hamilton. We'll leave the best till last.
Heel toe. Here
we go. Marc, why don't you start us off with this game?
Right. Well, obviously watching it, you're expecting Celtic to come out and beat Accies. I mean, if you're expecting anything else, I don't know what football you've been watching recently. But to give Accies credit though, they came out and they played to Celtic. Like, they didn't sit back and just accept it or try to like concede less goals. They went out and they went for the win. And it ultimately comes down to a lack of quality again in the top third. Accies managed to get up there. They managed to get up to the other end, but then the ball's falling to Moyo and he's not doing anything with it. The first Celtic goal was fantastic play. It's really as simple as that. Good passing. The run from Edouard to get around the back is brilliant. Tapping, brilliant ball in from Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor had a great game, I felt anyway. He's probably just tied down that left back spot now. That's his. The second goal for me is the exact same as the first.
I've got it down here quickly. I was just the same as the first, and I think I've got that for the third as well. So
yeah, the second goal. The second goal though, the best thing about it is it looks like Jermaine Frimpong. He's playing that as a defender up the other end of the pitch, and he's going, who would do this against me? Because you see, he gives the defender a wee push, just a subtle wee push to get away from him, and then he's off, and it's another tapping, easy enough. The Accies goal is that little bit of luck that you need against the Old Firm, a double deflection past Bain. I think obviously if it doesn't take a deflection, it's not doing anything, but that's what you need against the Old Firm. After that, Accies had chances. Like, let's no beat around the bush. They had the chance to they had a chance at 0-0 to go 1-0 up, and Moyos fluffed it.
Yeah, was that the header?
Yeah, that has to be on target. That has to be on target.
No one's really challenging him there.
Exactly.
And he's got it all the time he really wants with it, and he puts it wide. So I've got that written down here.
Precisely, aye.
I think I've put it's basically the same as you just said. It's not like they didn't have chances, and Celtic will probably that might be something for Len to take from this game. I know they'd won 5-1, that's not good, but they're going to play better teams than Hamilton all season round, basically. And if they're letting that much chances happen against Hamilton, they're going to have to look at it. I know that's probably just a one-off, and team they just came back. It's the first game of the season, but they started in second gear. In my opinion, although they did dominate possession, they're expected to. They try to utilise the fullbacks more than last season, with them overlapping and creating the chances and also making the
exactly.
Space.
Well, so you're saying that you're bang on, because Taylor overlaps and sets up the first two goals, and Frimpong overlaps and scores the second.
Exactly.
So their fullbacks just tank it. I mean, the third goal's the exact same again. Basically, a good ball from Edouard. Edouard's unreal in this. Like, he doesn't even look like he comes out of second gear, as you say. He looks like he's still in fourth gear, man. He just rolls it. It's too easy. That run for the goal is brilliant. And the fourth goal, it's just a poacher's goal for Edouard, man.
Yeah,
it is just a poacher's goal. But you need to be there to score it.
I love the way he just delays his run. Like, he's just standing still, and he's just waiting for the keeper to just parry it out to him.
He's a step ahead of everyone else on that pitch. And the one other thing they were utilising really well, and it's obviously they've worked on with the fullbacks, the low-driven balls into Edouard. He's not as good in the air, obviously, as he is with his feet. So the fact that they were able to drive the ball underneath, right to his feet, and he just taps it home. They did that for 3 of the goals, and then he got the tapping as well. So Ali Nuzi had a good game as well. One of the chances, absolute shambles. It is the whole. I've seen a trailer before we move on about the home of Scottish football, but they only show the game and a little bit at half time. So I would like to
Exactly.
see more in that sense. But back on the
And
Celtic
then they've
game,
got the cheesy wee mini videos of David Turnbull about his move to Celtic, which happened a year ago, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Aye.
Well,
Do you see that fifth goal as well? That pass from Julian is
it's
unreal. Unreal. And I mean, the finish from Klimala as well, like, it's a solid finish. He looks like he's going to be a solid backup to Edward, or if they get rid, he might be the one. I don't know, obviously, what Celtic are planning to do there. And this is going to sound daft. I'm fully aware of it. I'm ready for the slagging, but might have been 5-1 to Celtic. But I honestly think that the goalkeeper for Aki's Fulton, if he's no in there, it's 10. It's 10, 11. Like, some of the saves he makes there are unreal saves. Like he's quick off his line to stop Edward getting in. He's making good saves, good parries, a brilliant tip wide. Like, I think it's very unfair for him to kind of be called, oh, well, he's a bad keeper because he lost 5-1. He made some fantastic saves in that game, and I think he was probably the best player in the pitch in an Aki's shirt anyway.
Well, that's kind of similar to what I've got next. Like, Hamilton should be judged off a Celtic loss as such, because they're not playing Celtic every game. So, like, they've got this, like, there's levels and there's different quality all around to Aki's and Celtic. So obviously Celtic were maybe using this as a more of a like testing to see if what they've been doing on the training ground like actually worked. And it did. It worked superbly with the full backs and the low-driven balls, and Edward was looking better than ever. Elyounoussi as well looked really good, but as Neil Lennon, I think, said in his interview, there was a few things they could work on. I think that's defensively. They didn't look as stable as maybe previous seasons. But they won 5-1, so they're not going to be bothered as such as just now. But it's when they go into a different game, like maybe a Motherwell or a Rangers,
or even a European night.
Yeah.
Can't defend. You can't. If Aki's can get the chances they had, European teams will get better chances and they'll score them. They'll take those chances.
Higher tempo and a quicker tempo in Europe as well, because teams just sometimes in Scotland just wait for the counter, so they're going to have to be more alert for them.
So I think it's going to be time to move on to the final game of the first episode of Premier View. And
can we skip this game?
To be honest, I did not expect to be talking negatively about this match until 9:30 last night. Do you want to start, Marc, or shall I? Because everyone will be wanting to think about it.
I'm kicking back.
I mean, from what
get the pop from it, Coby.
From what I can remember from the game, County have 2 chances in the whole match, and one of them's a penalty, and it forces the other one's a great save from Trevor Carson. Liam Grimshaw was absolutely dreadful as a right back last night. I have no idea. His distribution was bad. The positioning, the fact that he let Stewart get so far behind him for his chance is unreal. It seems like we were trying to shoehorn David Turnbull in there, because whoever was playing left wing, I don't even know who was, because they weren't there. I don't know if that was Turnbull coming in wide or Polworth. It doesn't work. Don't play them.
We had 2 players playing left centre mid.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
I was surprised with. You didn't start Alan Campbell. I don't know if something happened. Maybe training might have a knock.
It's got to be a knock, because he's starting for me.
He's your spark. Like he's he's
the cog in the Motherwell wheel, and the fact that Campbell's not playing is a big worry, because I mean you can see how much he missed. He was on the bench.
He was
on the bench.
Maybe he's not fully fit or something. Maybe, I don't know. But
I'm not 100%.
That was a surprise to me. Like, obviously, as an outsider looking into Motherwell, I couldn't get my head around why you weren't starting him. But, Ross Stewart was played out wide, and that worked amazingly for Ross County. Like, took a picture of his heat map. His heat map.
Thing is, Ross County, right? They only played for 20 minutes in the whole game, and that's where the game was won. It was the first 20 minutes. We started so slowly, and they had that chance that Carson tipped onto the bar, and then they had the penalty, which Gallagher should really do better with. But that comes from Ricky Lammy's bad defensive clearance.
Yep.
Because he
The
heads
thing
it
that-
right to the paint.
I'm going to try and look at it from a positive now, for me anyway. It's a positive and a negative. We had 4 clear-cut chances if you include our penalty.
Yeah.
We couldn't take them. That's something that needs addressed. But the positives are we had those chances. Normally, you're sitting there, you get 1 clear-cut chance a game, maybe, and that's it. McGinley looked great. I was worried about him playing left back last night, but he got forward. It's a shame that he's a centre back and he had to play left back and left wing, but he did a good enough job at it. Seedorf came on, completely changed it. Jake Hastie looked terrified to take on his man. I don't know what happened there, but Seedorf beat his man every time, got balls in the box. He put Ross. He put Stewart on his arse, which was a good laugh.
It was, but
even with 10 men, we were still. I felt we were on top with 10 men, but just could not put the ball in the net. It's again lack of a cutting edge in the final third for us in that game.
Decision making is a massive thing, because if we completely change the way we think, and if we go and score one of those chances, we are going on to win that game. I think.
Oh yeah,
I think so. One of the 4 clear cut chances, we were going to win that match. And
momentum would have been on your side.
It's just the longer we went without scoring, just the more deflated we looked. And then the red card happens, which in my opinion is a definite red card.
Oh, I think it was. Yeah.
The first look I had of it, I was adamant it's not a red card. I've had obviously longer. Yeah, I've had longer to look at it now, and I'm like, to be fair, probably is a red card. Probably is, but
I've got here. He got sent off because when you take into account that it was at pace,
off the ground,
it was from behind, it was a high tackle. It was just those 3 things, and makes it swing towards a red card.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
It was on the counter attack, so there wasn't many men back, so he just wiped it. It was a professional tackle. He took one for the team, but I think he didn't look like he had too much complaints with it. So, but for me, I think Seedorf changed the game for you when he came on for Hastie. I think he gave you a better dynamic. When I think he cut in and took a shot, it might have taken a little deflection, went out for a corner. Yeah. But in the first half, he's started really poorly. If I'm being honest from outsiders, because I think I've got it down here. I'm pretty sure Ross Stewart carved out a great chance with as you said, Carson tipping it onto the bar. Yeah. And like that should be a goal. So Carson did really well there as such, but obviously the penalty he can't do much about. That's a great.
It's a cracking penalty.
No keeper.
It's a cracking penalty.
What a penalty! But
the thing is, I've seen people tip Carson for like goalkeeper of the week because of that save. But the thing is,
I'll put him in.
That's stupid. Like he only made 1 save, and it was that save, which was a good save. But I would have only put him in as for team of the week if he saved the penalty.
Or you won, Like, I think Ross County played quite well, playing more of an attacking style of football. Maybe they were passing it about quite well at times.
They were spraying the ball around really nicely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I think there was the opposite. Obviously, the 2 penalties. There was like the opposite. One was a great penalty. One was a really poor penalty from Donald.
Shocking penalty. Absolutely shocking. He hits it with his heel.
Can he put a penalty on target from 12 yards?
I think what it was I think he changed direction midway through run up, and he hit it with the side of his foot and like scuffed it, and it went. It was an awful penalty. Yeah. For someone that was so prolific for them last season, he was really poor. He was really poor for that penalty. But no, if we're talking about the penalties, what was your thinking of Gallagher? Or no, even talking about the one they gave away. I think it was clumsy from the Ross County defender. He was just like tugging at Jordan White's shirt.
Yeah, I think because
it's one of those.
Pulled him down.
Yeah,
it's one of those penalties where I think if it happens against Motherwell, if that's Declan Gallagher on Ross Stewart and Gallagher pulls his shirt and he goes down, I'm screaming it's soft and he's went down too easy. Yeah. But because it's my team, I'm going to be like, that's a Stonewall penalty. Yeah. I mean, by the letter of the law, it is a penalty. He's pulled his shirt, he's caught him off and he's pulled him down. It is a penalty. But as I say, one of those ones, if it happened against my team, I'd be not very pleased. But it is a penalty.
Yeah, and then moving on to your penalty. Oh Jesus! No, moving on to your penalty. I think it was a stone waller for the Ross County penalty. Gallagher just wipes him out. I think he got the ball a bit as well, but it's just the recklessness of
He
it.
just goes through him, yeah.
Yeah, I think it had to be given.
It was a dangerous tackle as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was. I think, in my opinion, it was actually almost similar to Considine and Michael Halloran's tackles as well. But the thing is, in this game, it's so inconsistent. Like one referee will send them off for it, another will book him, another will just say play on, because that's what Scottish football's like.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Halloran used to play for Rangers as well, so that might have something to do with it. But
of course.
Yeah.
Right, okay. We're not having any digs at the old firm on this.
I take that back. But no, I think Ross County played very professional. I think that's a good word for it. After the Motherwell goal, they were just happy to sit back and let Motherwell have chances. Let's not forget, Ross County had a good chance near the end of the game. I'm pretty sure it was. They just it was just.
The boy just sclaffed it.
Striker was, but it was given to him, and I think he fluffed it or something. So Ross County could have scored that, but as you said, Motherwell had lots of chances, and it's at the end of the day, you can only blame yourself for losing that game.
Yeah, quite right.
Yeah, agree.
Anyway, we're going to move on from talking about the weekend's action. We're going to look ahead we're going to go. You all right, Coby? What's happening, Coby? Can you hear me?
I don't think he can hear us.
You all right, Coby? He's gone. Right, so while Coby's trying to fix his thing, we'll go through our five-side team of the weekend. You go first, Marc.
So I've got two positions I'm not 100% certain on, which is goalkeeper and a defender. Oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back.
AOE. Goalkeeper, I'm torn between Fulton, as I said before. I felt he had a good game, and Jack Arrick, again, a fantastic game. Defending wise, I'm stuck between Tate and Julian. Tate gets a goal, should get an assist. Julian, fantastic assist, looked very solid at the back, had a couple of chances for a goal himself. Going to have a two midfielder, Scott Allen and Martin Boyle. The two of them just looked different class when they played for Hibs, and Odsonne Edouard up front. I mean, who else are you going to pick to go up front, man? Come on.
I know. You're very right. Right, Coby, who's in your five-a-side team?
I went for a 1-2-1, obviously. Yeah, I went for that. I went for Jack Arrick in goal. Balogun in centre back. I thought he had a great game.
I had him down for a while as well. I
thought he started really well, and he was kind of the difference in the defence and the attack. But in midfield, I kind of played someone out of position. I went for Ross Stewart. He was obviously playing on the wing. I've tried to squeeze him in. With Martin Boyle aside him, as Marc said, he had a great game. And then Odsonne Edouard up top. I mean, you've got to have him in, really.
Aye.
And for me, I've actually gone with two defenders, one midfielder, one forward. I've got Arrick in goals. Two defenders are Richard Tate and Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor was solid against Hamilton. In midfield, Martin Boyle, and up front, you've got your man Edouard. Full house with him up front.
I was about to say, it's a solid consensus that.
Who do we think's the best? Who do we think would win?
What?
Who do you think would win? I'm putting a strong in for mine being the best.
Nah. I think my team would win.
Well, I'm just going to complete the set and say my team would win then. So,
so we've done the five-a-side. Now we're going to go on to goal of the week. What is goal of the week, lads? I think there's only one contender here.
Chris Burke. It's got to be his free kick. He just didn't really place. He powered it right
rockets
into the
it, man.
Corner. Rocket. It was just an arrow, just went straight in. But I'm pretty sure you've all got the same, but
I mean, to be honest, yeah, but I'm going to say one. I'm going to say a contender just to be different as well. Martin Boyle's second goal.
I was about to say the same.
If we're putting a contender in the St Johnston's volley, the St Johnston players volley, I can't remember who scored it, but I've got. I think that was it was obviously a defensive error from Connolly, but it was put right to him and he hit it. He hit it perfectly, and it was a sweet strike. So if we're putting in a contender, I think his is up there, but Chris Burke's for me.
I'm just saying, if Chris Burke's goal's a 10, I would say Liam Craig's is a 7 because you take 3 points off for a defensive error.
True.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, that's Ryan Kent's goal as well. What's his then? Like a 4?
Yeah, well, I was never going to say Ryan Kent. A 1-on-1, and if your attacker doesn't score a 1-on-1, then what's the point in being an attacker?
Fair enough.
AKA Chris Long.
Yeah. Chris Long had 2 of them and he's duffed them up.
I know. We never even mentioned that it was that bad.
No.
I know, just skipped over it.
One of his free kicks, he had a free kick which I had quite a bit of venom on it, but it just didn't have the placement. But I don't know if he's good at them or what, but
I can't even mind ever seen him take a free kick other than that one, to be honest.
He scored that deflected goal at
Dundee. Yeah.
I think that's what kind of gave him the move to use, because I didn't remember seeing much of him before the Dundee game, but correct me if I'm wrong, but
it was like it's the same kind of free kick. He just got a lucky deflection. I think it's, as you say, same. He went for the same technique, but this time no deflection. He's got all the power behind it.
We're moving on to the predictions then.
Yeah, I've just written down the fixtures for game week 2. So, Coby, your turn first. St Johnstone versus Aberdeen, the early kickoff on Saturday. What are you thinking?
It could go. I've put down 2-1 Aberdeen, but it's just as we said, we lacked the quality in the final third. But I think it was against Rangers. Our 2 strikers are still out injured. I think we'll probably play a different style. We'll probably be on the front foot against St Johnstone. But I went for 2-1. I think they might score, but yeah, I think we'll have enough quality to see them off. Hopefully. I hope we do. Jesus.
Marc, what is your prediction?
Yeah. I'm going for a curveball here, or / bait and Coby. We'll see how it goes. I think St Johnstone will nick a win. I think it'll be a 1-0.
I can
St Johnstone.
I can see that, to be honest. I'm not. If that happens, I'm not going on Twitter.
Like we're saying, Aberdeen just didn't offer much, and St Johnstone had to face a lot worse against Dundee United than Aberdeen offered Rangers, and they made it look easy defensively. A penalty, and that was it. So I'm saying 1-0 St Johnstone.
That's one thing we struggle to break down as well. We struggle to break down teams, and if teams are staying compact, we're just going to have to hopefully. Well, usually we've got a big Cosgrove to hopefully head in a corner or something, but. I think we could struggle. It could go 2 ways.
Fair enough. And those who are still watching, we've got 14 still watching. If you've got any predictions for these games, feel free to put in your predictions as well. For me, I'm actually going to say it's going to be a blank and 0-0.
Fair enough.
Because honestly, I don't see either team scoring. I think it'll just cancel each other out. But
to be honest,
moving on to the next game, which is Hamilton Accies against Ross County. We'll start with Marc. You go first for this one.
I have a boring 0-0 draw for that one. I think that is going to be a terrible game. Ross County, again, a penalty and 1 chance against us, and we were very, very poor. Hamilton looked solid with our goalkeeper. But again, they just lacked stuff in the final third, so I think it's just going to be a 0-0.
Coby?
See, I've gone for a totally different to Marc. I went for a high scoring game. I've gone for a 2-2. I think Hamilton created quite a few chances against Celtic, and I think if that's down to them, they'll create a few more against Ross County, and maybe they'll tuck a few away. I think they've got a decent team, no? Like Callahan's decent. I think he came from, was it St Johnstone? But Ross County, I'm guessing they'll hope to have a few more chances against Hamilton than they would against Hughes, but I think they've got enough quality to maybe get 2 against Hamilton, so I'm going with a 2-2 draw for that one.
I'm saying Hamilton are going to sneak it 1-0.
Fair enough.
Because, Aki's actually took the game to Celtic. They played really well. Whereas Ross County, I'm slagging them off, but they beat us. But Ross County didn't do an awful lot against us, bar score and just sit back. And I'd think it'll be different on an AstroTurf pitch, and Aki's will have the brunt of that. So Aki's will make the most of that advantage. So the next game we go to Almondvale for Livingston versus Hibs. Now I'm going to kick off proceedings by saying Livingston will win 1-0.
Oh, that's bold.
Your boy Marvin Bartley, is he going to score?
Oh yeah, my boy Marv.
Big Marv. I've went for a 2-0 Hibs.
I've also went for a 2-0 Hibs.
Fair game. Because I'm thinking AstroTurf again.
That's a very fair point. Very fair point.
That is.
Livingston may not have been all great shakes at St Mirren, but Hibs, on the other hand, they always struggle at Livy.
That could play into the hands. It'll be interesting to see, because I think everyone knows that AstroTurf does play a big part in teams. Whether it's injuries, we once had 3 injuries at Killie. I don't McKenna came off, and it was Ferguson, Shinnie as well. But it'll be interesting to see if Hibs do manage to get the goals against Livy.
Next up, we've got Motherwell versus Dundee United.
Who's kicking us off with this one?
Marc, you go first, mate.
I've got a 1-0 on that one. To be perfectly honest, because it's Motherwell, I don't know how it's going to go. There's 2 different Motherwell teams that could turn up on that game.
Yeah,
I know if the Motherwell team that I know can play turns up, we could win it. But I also know what it's like, so I think it might be a wee 1-1.
Coby, yourself.
I went with a 2-1 Dundee United win.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I just think Dundee United, if they are playing the same style against you as they did with St Johnstone, I think they'll be a bit too quick freeze, as you seem to struggle with that at times against Ross County when they did decide to ping a few balls in behind and not just sit back. But I do think I think he will improve. I think Stephen Robinson will have his improving, and I just think eventually maybe Dundee United will have enough to seize off this time.
And I am going to tell you to wait till my match preview on Friday night, as that is part of my content. So,
what a plug! What a plug!
What a plug it is! So wait till Friday night till you see my prediction, because too much can happen between Tuesday night and Friday night before the match kicks off. So you'll have to wait and see then. Next game, that's the Sunday fixtures now. Rangers versus St Mirren. I'm going to kick off proceedings with a 4-0 win for Rangers. I think they'll have far too much in the way of St Mirren, because, you know who they've just signed. People keep saying in the comments. Coby, you go next.
4-1 Rangers. I think this is probably where they're going to look to... maybe looking at themselves and thinking, maybe we could actually stop 10 in a row, because I think Celtic had a more promising game week last week. But I think Rangers will obviously have enough quality to see off St Mirren.
Quite right. Even though they've improved, but yourself, Marc?
I've went for another wee bit of a curveball. I think Rangers will win, but I don't think it'll be as convincing as you guys think. I think it'll be 2-0.
Alright.
I thought St Mirren were very good defensively. They're very, very good defensively.
In fact, I'd like to change my prediction.
Right.
I'll go 3-1 St Mirren. I'll take a goal off.
3-1 St
Wait,
Mirren.
3-1 St Mirren.
No, 3-1 Rangers. No, 3-1 Rangers.
I was right. I thought I was being bold.
It's a bit.
3-1 Rangers.
And,
3-1 Rangers.
Yes, Colin Ritchie. I've learnt from the best, of course. It's my show now. Anyway, Kilmarnock versus Celtic. Marc, you go first, mate.
I think it's going to be a 4-1 job for Celtic here.
Aye. Fair game, man.
I think Kelly put really good balls in the box, and once we were saying like Hamilton were creating chances the same way, I think Kelly have a wee bit more to offer than Aki's going forward. I mean, all they need to get is give Chris Burke a free kick.
Nice.
You could get your goal there, but I think it'll be 4-1.
Coby?
4-0. 4-0 Celtic. Yeah.
And I'm going to be a bit tighter and say, well, Celtic never really do too much on AstroTurf. So I'm going to say it's going to be 2-0 to Celtic.
Fair enough.
They always tend to just ease up when they're like 2-0 up and they just play out.
Cruise control.
And guys, have we got anything else to add to this week's Premier View?
Well, I suppose we should maybe mention the signings that everyone's talking about. Maybe just a wee bit.
While we're on fixtures, though, do you want to go on about the Rangers?
That one.
Almost forgot about that one.
Yes. So Rangers are playing Bayer Leverkusen on Thursday, in which Bayer Leverkusen already lead 3-1 on aggregate. So, who's wanting to take the first dig at this game?
I'll have a go. I think it'll be 1-0 Bayer Leverkusen. I think their season's obviously been finished for quite a while now, and Rangers are back in action. So I think they will still win, but I just think they might be a bit on the beach and not match sharp as such.
I don't know. This is the Europa League quarter-final, mate.
That is true. That is obviously.
I think they'll be ready for it.
Well, they might obviously turn up, but I think if Kai Havertz is playing, he has totally different quality to that. But it's whether he's off to Chelsea or not. But I think it'll be 1-0 Bayer Leverkusen.
Okay, Marc, you go.
I don't know for a score, to be honest with you. I think it might. You can either get two different Rangers sides coming out in that game, a side that are really up for it and are raring to go, or a side that just can't get that final ball sorted. Because Leverkusen are a good team. I mean, they're 3-1 up for a reason. Rangers might nick it, but I don't know if they might nick it, but I don't know if they'll go through. We'll go with that. I don't know what the score will be, but I'll say Rangers could nick it, but I don't see them going through.
So just put a question mark for yourself. 1-0 for Coby. I'm going to say it'll be 2-0 to Bayer Leverkusen, a goal in each half. Because literally that Bayer Leverkusen team is absolutely sensational.
It's an unreal team.
Leon Bailey.
They are one of the main contenders for the competition. I really do not see Rangers going anywhere near them. Rangers may get a goal, but I think Bayer Leverkusen have way too much for them. Of course, we've got those signings that you always want me to cover as well. The fact that Rangers have signed Kemar Roof and that boy Ita, is it?
Cedric Eiton.
From St Gallen, the team who just signed Flo Camberi. So that is an interesting bit of business. The title.
I think Cedric Eiton's record, I think, is 19 goals in 34 games or something so far.
That's amazing.
That's a good record.
And then obviously we all know Roof, when he was at Leeds, how good he was down there. That just begs the question though: is Morelos off?
Yeah, that's signing two strikers.
You're signing two strikers.
One for 5 mil.
And you've already 1 for 5 mil, and you've already got Jermaine Defoe. I know he's injured, but
he's still there.
It begs the question: is that the last we'll see of Alfredo Morelos? Is he?
Exactly.
And as I saw it's again rumours and all that. He's apparently agreed terms with Leo. They just need that transfer to go through. Rangers want 15 mil, I think.
Yeah,
that's what they're holding out for.
But no, as you said, Jermaine Defoe's injured, so I think a few Rangers fans will say, "Oh look, Jermaine Defoe's injured. We need a second striker." But you don't go buy a 5 mil striker for the bench. Like we need a striker because two of our main strikers are also injured. We go loan in Ryan Edmondson. Like you go loan in a player. You don't go buy two strikers, one for 5 mil. I don't know what they got the other boy for.
$1 million apart.
Yeah, you don't go spending that money on like fourth choice and third choice or second choice or whatever they're going to be strikers if you're not looking to maybe prepare for one of them going. So obviously, well, that's probably going to be Morelos.
Mm-hmm. But on that happy note, we are going to have to go off ski because I think Marc's got a visitor coming over. So
Shay Logan.
Aye, Shay Logan coming in to fix my bathroom.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the first edition of Premier View. Now, tomorrow we're actually going live for the Europa League fixtures at 8 o'clock, in which Man United take on LASK Linz, and they lead 5-0 in aggregate. And also Inter Milan against Getafe. They will be speaking about whoever's going to want to be a guest in the chat. But without any further ado, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you tomorrow. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. That's all from us.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
See you later.
Video.
And this is the Awkward Part.